For centuries, English farmers used open public lands called the commons. This was land that could be used by any villager to grow crops and graze their animals. In the late 17th century, English landowners bought up village land and fenced it off. This was called enclosure. Enclosure caused a decrease in the number of small farms and forced some poorer farmers off the land to find work in the cities. However, enclosure also allowed for new and scientific advancements in farming, since farmers now had more control over their crops and livestock. This led to new methods of working the land, raising livestock, and planting crops. Farmers also found ways to rotate their crops in a way that made the soil more fertile. In the past, land had to be left fallow or idle after several crop seasons to allow it to replenish its nutrients. With the introduction of crop rotation, land could be used every season, and as a result, more crops could be grown. Crop rotation has become a basic principle of modern farming. In the early 1700s, Jethro Tull, an English gentleman farmer, invented the seed drill. The seed drill was the first farm machine designed with moving parts. Before the seed drill, seeds were scattered by hand over the fields. Tull's horse-drawn seed drill planted seeds in a straight line below the surface of the soil, which prevented the seeds from being destroyed by frost, eaten by birds, or blown away by the wind. The seed drill allowed a greater number of seeds to germinate or take root. Because the seed drill planted the seeds in a straight line, the horse hoe, also invented by Tull, could be used to remove weeds between the rows of plants. Removing weeds resulted in a higher yield of crops. More efficient machinery followed, including machines that harvested crops more efficiently and threshed grain far more quickly than it was ever possible to do by hand. Ways were also found to store crops better to reduce loss. Selective breeding means choosing the best animals to mate with each other. Before enclosure, this had been impossible because all animals were in one large herd grazing the commons. After enclosure, farmers could fence off their own herd, making selective breeding much easier. Robert Bakewell was the first pioneer of selective breeding. He chose the best cattle, sheep, and horses and would breed his herd only from them. This led to raising livestock that fattened quickly and were ready for market sooner. A new breed of longhorn cattle and an improved breed of cart horses.